Hello. How you all doing? Good to have you today, and thank you for joining. And as you join in, just um, like the video, like the broadcast, and forward on all your social media platforms. Just share far and wide. Just share far and wide as we discuss today and look into very important details and issues of today. And I want to let you know that today we are going to be touching some key and fundamental things that are important to our quest for freedom, and at the same time, things that will help you not lose your mind. Because the only thing that can give us satisfaction in our and the only thing that the confidence is the fact that we are not misdirected. Sorry, just one moment. In the next 1 minute, I'll be through with what I'm doing, so I can fully concentrate. Just one. Some very key things, very important things that consists what we're doing. You are ready to navigate with me on this boat. Thank you all wherever you're watching from. Today is Thursday, day of September 2023. And this is, let's say, 3 minutes past 5 p.m. Biafra time. And as usual, I want to welcome you. Invite other people. If we all discover the truth, we all shall be made free. You understand that, the only thing that gives us true freedom is truth. And that is why we have to be very careful the way we handle information along the to freedom. Fundamentally, it is important that we all these facts very seriously, unless we want to get ourselves messed up over time. My sister, well done. So good to have you here. Thank you all for watching. Those who are watching right now, please share and like. People turn in. The time today is Biafra time for the program, and of course, the essence of it is for us to have a very good time. For those, we also say thank you for watching. Kwame, good to see you here. Shalom, watching it. Shalom to you too. Appreciate you. Good, very good too. Thank you to welcome you. This is Biafra Network, and of course, my name is Kelechi Ambrose, and it's my very from my heart, especially, I am thanking you for joining, and at the same time saying welcome to the broadcast. We want to begin exclusive exposition of the evils, the terrible manipulation going on, which of course we have begin to give some vivid, information that will help you to come, to the knowledge of these facts. Yesterday I wasn't here, but 2 days ago I made a broadcast. I talked about intention, I also talked about the rogues and the gang war going on among the rogues. And some of you might not understand these things, but it's good anyways that we keep saying them over and over so that you can begin to have a very broad understanding of what we're talking about. Now, listen to me, everybody. Before I begin properly going into the rogue autopilot plan to corrupt the Biafra constitution, at the same time to erect a fraudulent and faulty structure. Before I do that, I am going to first say some things here, basic. Now, I want you to understand this. That structure is should I say, pillar, holding anybody, any group, any organization, any nation, any continent. In everything we do, the most important thing is structure. If you miss structure, you have lost focus. You cannot carry out any fundamental program that has to do with humanity, business, or whatever that concerns human being, even animals, even nature, without considering structure. By going into these details, you'll come to understand what I mean by structure in this regard, so that you can have a very good lesson in class today, because we want to change. You see, we don't want to fall victim as other nations who fought for their freedom, the mistakes they made. Maybe I'm going to try to do a compilation, common mistakes in freedom fighting. I think I'm going to do such kind of maybe a kind of compilation of some facts and pointers, and I'm going to post them, and I'm going to use them one after the other to make broadcasts too as time goes on. Common mistakes. There's something we're taught those days, common mistakes in English, because they want you to understand English so well so that you can be a very good slave. So now, for us to understand the common mistakes of freedom fighting so that we can become good freedom fighters by identifying the common mistakes. But first of all, I want to say this. 3 days ago, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, look at my background, you see the picture that reminds us of his frail, his suffering and pain, and everything he went through, and all of that. That's what that picture represents. Now, let me tell you this. There's something that shocked me. Although, when it comes to celebrations and all of that, there's a way you tend to address someone who is important to you. When you want to send birthday wish to somebody who is important to you, you know how you send them, especially when they are important people and they are very prominent in the society. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a very, very prominent person. He's a very, very important person. He is very, very dear to us. And we accord him the regard, the respect, and everything that is important to what we do. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, being the leader of Biafra Nation, deserves the respect, especially based on the fact that he has stood his ground and he has please, I'm on a live broadcast. Please, can you call me later? I'm on a live broadcast right now, please. Please, let's talk later, please. I'm on a live broadcast. So, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a very, very key person. That means if I want to address Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I must address him. That's our culture, Africa. Especially Biafrans and other cultures. There is this respect you give to people who are important, important in quotes, not because you are not important anyways, but because of their position and everything, their prestige and all of that, we accord them some kinds of respect and regard. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is so important to us that we give him the highest respect. Now, there's something that shocked me. If you go to Simon's tweet, he just put Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's face on his birthday, put Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's picture, put his son's picture, and just wrote happy birthday to his son now, and Simon. What's the name of his son? I can't remember. Happy birthday to his son and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Happy birthday to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and he now put the name of his son. That is an insult. If people don't know, if you don't know, if some of you will say, hey, because he's your person, anyway, he's your person, you say, oh, it doesn't matter. That is an insult. That's an insult on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That shows that this guy doesn't have regard for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You can't just, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not just one of your children that you just put his name by the side of your son, and then you now just put happy birthday to him and to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and then you put, and somebody will say because he put Mazi, and so you don't address someone who is important to you and you know is your leader. And don't forget about all this Takia strategy, using his name to sell. The other time I saw Iwanya who is coming to Finland to do he wants to let everybody know that he's so important. And so if he's coming, he has not freed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has not gone to get Mazi Nnamdi Kanu freed. He's coming. Don't use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for Takia. But anyways, we understand all these strategies. We can't stop you. You can use them for whatever way you want to use them. The same way all these guys who are going to kill, they begin to shout Allah Akbar. Nobody can stop them. But they are saying God is great and they are committing evil. The same way also, you're talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So that's narrative, so that's behavior. That's behavior. I don't know, the network signal is somehow. That behavior is an insult on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. For you to just put Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's name in hand, put Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and put his son and say happy birthday to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his son. I've forgotten the name of that his son. That's an insult on a leader, someone who on that class, on that level. If he has respect, in the first place they're not age mates. You just put his son's face, you put his face, and then you write happy birthday to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and that's an insult on our leader. If I want to give regard to somebody who is important on their birthday, I write a message and address that message to them directly, even if I want to put it in the public. My son cannot be having a birthday on a particular day, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be having a birthday, and I just put, because I want to give a level of importance to my son. And then I put his face, put my leader's face, and then just write. Can you do that to can you even do that to Tinubu, who is the president of the zoo, president of a corrupt entity, not to talk about a man that is righteous, as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Can you just write put your son's picture by Tinubu's, if you are working on that Tinubu, you just put your son's, can any of them do that? Just put your son's picture and then put Tinubu's picture. Maybe if he is working on that Tinubu, for instance, and he's under the pay of the states, and then he puts his picture and then puts Tinubu's picture, puts his own picture, and say happy birthday to me and Tinubu. That's disregard. You see, people overlooked it, but let me tell you, learn to read in between lines. That is when you begin to have signs. I told you about signs 2 days ago. Signs and intention. Nobody take over our great able leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's position. Thank you so much, Evangelist Barbara. Good to have you here. Or Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's position, or be like him. He is a truthful, cares for his people, not like others that are killing our people. That's the truth. That's the truth. Thank you so much, Ego. He knows the system. The gullible people fail and fall for, and he is using it. That's it. He's using it. Thank you so much, Evangelist Barbara. You can't put that. Is an insult on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You put your picture, your son's picture, and put Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's picture, and you say happy birthday to. That's an insult. That's an insult. So, Biafrans, you begin to understand these little things you take for granted. They prove to you the things you need to know. Very, very important. You need to know. Now, there's something again I want to mention. You see, there's, I am not just after only the rogue in Finland. I'm after all the criminals. As long as you call yourself a member of the DOS and you have not yet clamored for a fact-finding committee to be put in place to know what happened to our leader, an important person as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you don't have any right to come in public and begin to showcase any other thing. That is the first thing, because you are a suspect. Because in the first place, as a member of the DOS, you know the movement of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu somehow, whether primarily or secondarily. Somehow, even if you don't have it directly, you'll get it because he appointed you there, and somehow you get information from the secretary or what. So if you are a member of the DOS, for now, of course, you're still a member because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not out. When it's out, all of you will be removed from that position because none of you fit to be in that position. None of you fit to be in that position. You don't know what it means to sit on a structure that governs a nation. You don't know what it means. All of you in that DOS, you keep robbing our people. You are still collecting monthly dues from the people. You still keep collecting monies for projects that so that you can be stealing from those projects. You tell them you want to carry out a project and you tell people to contribute, and you want projects to continue because, of course, just like in the zoo, they carry out projects and then they allot it to their companies. Not because they care for the people, but because they want to make it look like they are working so that they can be stealing money from there. You keep collecting monthly dues from the people in Biafra land, yet nothing to show for it. If people ask you, say, who is paying? Who are those paying the lawyers? If you ask, you say you are doing this, you are doing that, you are doing underground work. The most important thing, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu even said it the other time before he was kidnapped and extraordinary rendition. He said that nobody collects monthly dues anymore. Collecting now. The other day, I think during I think it was in June or July, you guys buying Hilux van and you were taxing people in the communities, in the rural areas, all the communities, because you know they must contribute. And the problem here, whatever these guys tell them to contribute, they release the money. What's wrong with our people? Embezzle it. That's what they do. They collect the monies from the people, embezzle it, and even asking questions. Why are these guys collecting monies from us? What I call it one family, IPOB one family, because they want to operate it like a family business. They don't understand this. Just family. This is aside the fact that we know that it does not fit in the narrative of freedom fighting. You don't talk about family in freedom fighting. You talk about force. We know we're a family. It shouldn't be the idea of, because all you guys do, because what you guys do is that you sell that idea, family in the minds of the people, so that they keep contributing and contributing and contributing. That is the wickedness in your heart. Now, the current thing now is that they are saying they want a particular structure in the compound of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whether a security structure, so that they will, and they are telling the people to give free will donation from 3,000, 4,000 upwards, like that, free will donation, and they are collecting monies from the people to do that thing, saying that when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes, he's going to be there, and then he's going to have a security. Who told him that that's where he's going to stay when he's out? Who told them that? But they know he will not be there when he comes out, because that's not the place he's going to be. But they want to steal, and so they have to engage in a project to make sure that people keep contributing monies. These are the things we're talking about. These are the nonsense we're talking about. These are the nonsense we're talking about. Those of you giving them money, just I want you to pinch yourself to know whether you are not under spell. Thank you so much, Mercy. Thank you so much. How can a group of people, the DOS, who should know the next thing to do after the kidnap and extraordinary rendition of our leader, instead of doing the right thing, all they are doing is extorting the people. Now they're talking about contributing free will donation so that people can give any amount and give. And of course, when they tell you free will donation, they mention an amount so that you can give from that amount upwards. and they tell you they want to build a structure in his compound. They want to build a security structure. They have started a foundation. They want to do this. They want to blah, blah, blah. Because they want to steal. Nobody should give them money. For 2 years plus, nobody should give them money. For 2 years plus, they have been sitting down, doing nothing. All they do is criminality. Look at what Chinasa is doing. Look at what Nena and Co is doing. Kanunta. Everybody having their group now. Kanunta has his group. Chinasa has his group. And all these groups are were members of ESN. Corrupted and manipulated to join their group. And you know what, our people, I told you guys the other time, you members of ESN, I told you that the fundamental problem we have now in this dispensation of militia groups that we are, I talked about dispensation the other time. I'm still going to go into that narrative very well. The fundamental problem we have, which would have been stopped by anybody, is the ESN. And the ESN would have been the only people who would have made sure and stopped this dispensation of militia groups. Because if you had not accepted to join Chinasa alone, or accepted to join Kanunta and Nena alone, or accepted to join the rogue inside and the rogue in Finland and all of that, if you have not accepted to join these groups, they will not have people to control and use against Biafra people in Biafra land. Look at what happened at Mbano. You came there, and let me tell you something. I want to reveal something to you guys here. Let me tell you something here. You see all these attacks and killings and invading of ESN camps that are not under Chinasa or Simon or any of them, or anyone that belongs to the other one that is being invaded because the other group has leaked their location and all of that. You see what is happening when a group, for instance, like the rogue in Finland, when his group gets an intel that there is another group having a location somewhere or a camp somewhere, they locate the closest military checkpoint in that place, or locate a particular important center in that place, go to that checkpoint, kill the military men there, or carry out a fundamental attack that is going to rub off on the government, and then the military will now come back and invade that community so that they would be able to use it as a means of getting to that camp. Have you ever heard that, in spite of the fact that we know that Simon's group has a kidnapping, they are a kidnapping group and killing group and all of that? Have you ever heard that the zoo contraption agents went to their camps? They will always tell you it's not our camp. Have you ever heard that? But each of these militia groups are busy exposing the other groups by first going to attack whether military checkpoint in that area, so that those areas will be combed by the military and their camp will be located, because they are seeking for supremacy, for control, to have the fundamental control of Biafra land. For the fact that Taliban, now let me give you this instance. For the fact that the Taliban fought and United Nations out of Afghanistan doesn't mean that the Taliban has a good intention over the people. Do you understand that now? The Taliban fought and made sure they conquered the West, and they are back after 20 years. They came back, they are back, and they are now ruling and governing Afghanistan. Does that mean that the Taliban have the right plan for the people? The simple answer, of course. The answer is no. Some of you don't know what is happening. Go now and check Google, go to Google, check out what is happening in Afghanistan right now. The people controlling Afghanistan now have imposed their laws and their rules. I'm going to the topic of today. I'm leading you through that direction now. They have imposed their Sharia in their unique way. The ladies today are not going to school. You can't go to you can't work in an organization. You can't go to the house and sit down. That's what they've told the ladies. That's what they've told them. Go home and sit. Some of them are fleeing the country, looking for where they can school out there, because they permitted the Afghans permitted a group called the Taliban, gave them support to come back to power. When you support a militia group that is fighting fighting in quotes to free you from a particular power or colonial structure or whatever you call it, when you support that group that has criminal signs and elements and features within it, you support such kind of group, give you the kind of freedom you're looking for, just understand that you are going to walk yourself into problem after that freedom you see. Because you know why? Let me give you this as you know, an addendum to that. Every colonial master wants to be in control, but still give you a kind of flavor of interest. What I mean by that is make it a bit comfortable for you, so that you don't seek to fight them, especially when it is in line with neocolonialism. That means colonizing you economically. They tend to want to give you, a kind of, they want to make you relax a bit. Check it out, what is happening all over the places where, these colonial powers are. They try to make it look like they make the system somehow stringent, but somehow not, if you observe what the Americans did in Iraq, in Afghanistan, the Afghans were not, getting everything as good and rosy, but they made sure that they were comfortable. But they were stealing their resources. But when the people who are within you fight these colonial masters or these so-called enemies, fight them and take over power, if that group that does that is a criminal group, when they come in, they would come and destroy you, and your nation will implode. There will be infighting. Today, what's happening in this nation now? What's the name of this country now? In Mali today, attacks here and there. Check South Sudan. Check every attacks, because the groups are criminal groups. All of them telling you they want to free their people, but the basic thing they're doing is to free their people to control their people. So what they do is, so if you think that anybody who comes to kill a Nigeria zoo agent in a particular checkpoint, or does anything and goes after the governors, is actually fighting to free you, you are very stupid. You are a very stupid person. You're very stupid, because you should not just look at the action. Why didn't Jesus take the offer of the devil, even if it has to do with freedom too? He said, once you just bow down and worship, I give you everything. You know why? It is not about the purpose itself. It is not about what you want to get. It is about the process to getting what you want to get. For instance, you can have money now, but the process of making that money might have been criminal. But money is important, right? Because you need it to make some exchanges for what you want to get. But the process of acquiring that money is important as much as the money is. So if you want to say you want to get money anyhow, some people have said that, and they have killed their mother, killed their father, killed their brothers, killed their sisters, killed people to make money. That alone is a very easy way, it may seem, but Am I correct? So even if after the whole thing, and people praise the money, what a right government or what a right people will do is, how did you get the nations, not in Africa now? It is not done that way. In other nations like that, once you have money, once a particular money gets into your account, I think they are trying to do it now in Africa. It says, I am ashamed that people don't know their history. What is the problem with the Igbos? We seem to be carried away. Around us, we are jubilating and celebrating. We are not. What is the end of this person? No person who is genuine will come destabilize what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has done, and then take some of them from it, and then begin to do whatever he's doing and begin to call the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as if he's actually his follower. I was talking about, and I was telling you, structure, network. All right, I'm back. Now, I was talking about structure, and I was telling you that structure is fundamental to the operation or administration of any body, organization, agency, system, and whatever. So if you, even you that is sitting down wherever you are right now, or standing or working, you have a structure inside of you. Your bones are structured to hold your body and help you move your hand, move your legs, move your eyes, move your mouth and speak and all of that. You have tissues and you have structure within you, giving you the ability to carry out some functions, which means that without structure, you will be grounded. You cannot carry out functions. You can have functions aligned, written out, well articulated, but if you don't have a structure designed to implement or to enforce that particular narrative or function, you cannot have that function carried out. So, which means that in any system, including you as a person, you must consider your structure as important as. So you wouldn't just go take a cutlass and cut off your hand because, one, you'll feel the pain. Two, you are going to now become restricted, and your function, which requires the use of your hand, will become limited, stunted, and all of that. Of course, whatever you want to call it, based on what you are talking about. So when we talk about structure, we are looking at what we want to achieve, because your structure interprets your expectation. And you must understand this, because your expectation has to do with your purpose and what you want to achieve, right? But your structure helps you to carry out actions and helps the process to your expectation. If I want to eat, for instance, my intention is to eat, right? And my expectation is to be fed. But if I have no hand to carry out that function of picking up the food and putting it into my mouth, and I have nothing around, my hand is cut off and everything, and I'm just standing there, and I can't utilize my legs to eat because I've not trained myself to do that. I become distorted. I become restricted because I don't have the material to carry out that function to fill my tummy or to eat. So this is very crucial. In everything we do, including freedom fighting, there is a functional procedure. You don't just embrace any nitwit or any criminal or any opportunist because the person is screaming Biafra and shooting and killing somebody there. You equip to buy weapons to carry out this stupidity to excite you, and you keep enthroning them by your praises. What is wrong with us? You should reason. Now let me go straight, because today I'm going to be talking about the structure and the constitution and how you can understand, especially the constitution, of course, spells out the structure of everything. That means even you, there's a constitution that governs you as a person. And that constitution has to do with it contains your purpose, contains your functions, it contains your expectations, it contains the faculty of your reasoning, your emotion, and all of that. It contains everything. So your human constitution is that part of you that contains the details of your functionality that helps you carry out activities in whatever way you wish to carry them out all through your life. That is why I gave a particular definition one particular time. Those of you who listened to my broadcast about last year or so, towards the end of last year, I gave a particular definition to the word, to the word personality, because your personality defines your output and your function. Because your output is out, in other words, your function. There's no way you can do anything outside the function you have, because your function contains your knowledge. Because that's all out of the knowledge that you have that determines how you function. So it means that there's no way you can do anything without or beyond what you know. You can't do anything beyond what you know. Even when you do something outside what you know, you will not even notice it. Because you are not knowledgeable about that aspect, and you will think you are getting it wrong. That's the truth. You might think you are getting it wrong. I was telling you something 2 days ago, and I made reference to Ngozi Arabweze. And I told you about when we were designing the Constitution. Now remember, the Constitution is the structure house, or the structure notes, or the structure document of any nation, any people, any group of people, any organization, anybody, and including you as an individual. Remember, I gave a particular definition that I created by myself on the word personality. The word mind, your mind, not personality. Because everything that you are is right here in the realm of your soul. And of course, your mind is a fundamental or the conscious aspect of your soul. Your mind is the totality or the governing ground for your soul. I gave you a definition I composed myself. I said the mind, and I used some stuff that you will understand to give you that definition. I said the mind is the personality. Now remember, the word personality is very fundamental because it deals or defines a particular order of operation. So the mind is the personality on the throne. Listen, look, get those words I'm using very critically, because I'm going to be using them all through the broadcast. The personality, throne. And I said, the mind is the personality on the throne, in the throne room of life, where matters of interest are initiated, assessed, assessed and implemented all through the humanistic kingdom. Now, this definition uses fundamental faculties of our everyday activities to give you an understanding of how the mind functions and the important elements that make up the mind. Let me try to define this thing so that you guys can understand, because we need to begin to go deep into some certain things to begin to understand what we're doing. We are not going to be stupid to become another Somalia. We're not going to be stupid to become another South Sudan. We are not going to be stupid. Do you understand? We are not going to be stupid to allow ourselves to become another Somalia after we get freedom. So we are concerned about those who are claiming to be seeking for our freedom. I cannot allow anybody claim to get me freedom, because if I allow a rogue to save me from a trouble, he will get me to safety and take everything that belongs to me and walk away, including my clothes, to keep me naked in the cold. That is what, when you allow a criminal determine your freedom, you are in trouble. So when people shout here and there, telling you they are the water and all of that, don't think they are interested in you. They only are interested in getting everybody out from Nigeria, then now control that people. That is when you now know the real thing. Now, let me give you an instance. I told you about Ngozi Oraboze the other time, and I told you how she was insisting that we should have at least 12-year-old girls, give them the right to their bodies. So if they want to commit abortion, they have the right. It is their body. She was saying it. I have, if you guys, if she wants to come out and say it's a lie, I have the, I'm the, of course, at that time, think tank stuff, I was the secretary. So I have all the recordings of the meetings. I have everything. So when I'm speaking this way, I don't just come to tell you guys because I want to lie. This is a hallowed platform. On this platform, I can't speak lies. I can't tell lies. Nobody comes here to speak lies. That is why when you are a liar, when you come on this platform, somehow along the line, you will expose yourself. And that's the truth. If you are not genuine in this Biafra freedom, you check Ngozi Oraboze have been here, right? She was exposed. It was when she started coming on this platform, she was exposed. I got access to her partnership with Nigeria government, and I exposed it, and Simon covered it because he was making money from her. We have other people who have been here. You don't see them again. From coming here to speak, to claim to be truthful, they expose themselves. If you don't have genuine intention, you can't come and not be exposed one day. So if you want me to invite you to come and speak, just check yourself. Because one day you will be exposed if you are not genuine. If I am a liar, if I am not genuine, I will be exposed. That's the truth. Because the issue of Biafra is sacrosanct, and it is driven by the spirit of truth. It's not for corruption. Ngozi Oraboze said the girls, young girls, 12-year-old girls should be given permission to their body. They have the right to their body. If they become pregnant, they should have abortion. She was arguing this matter for days. We were arguing this matter. She also argued that homosexuals should be given the right to their lifestyle because it is not our business. It is their fundamental human right to be stupid. Hey, Lord have mercy. So in Biafra nation, because she went to America and she thinks that when you arrive in America, you have become very important. And because she has seen nonsense, maybe I don't know what she does. It's not my business anyways. I don't know what she does in America because no normal human being will tell a nation that she knows this nation has a discipline. We have a culture. We have a tradition. And she's telling you that we should put in our constitution. I have the constitution, copy of the constitution. I can bring the minutes of the meeting. I can bring the video, the audio or the video of the meeting. I can play it out. You will hear it. Telling us that now this same Ngozi Oraboze is even at that period when she was doing that stuff, we told Simon that she said something like this, and Simon took it for granted because he just wants to get money. He's not interested in any other thing. It's just the money. Imagine that Ngozi was sponsored election that Simon was claiming that there's going to be no election in Biafra land. The same election he said will not hold in Biafra land. 2 candidates or 3 in the north. And Simon, I told him about it. I exposed it. I sent him the material. He still. And did you know that even on that platform where Ngozi was sponsoring this film, some of our people were in that platform. Until I know when I was told, and I said, they now told me so person is in that platform. And this is happening. Everybody kept quiet. Everybody is seeking for their pocket. That's the truth. But if you begin to it's just like now let me tell you something. And Ego, let me tell you guys this, and I'll come on to you. Let me tell you guys this thing. Let me tell you guys, and other people here who are sending messages. I think I'm seeing some other messages. Okay. But let me tell you guys this. Did you know something? Did you know something here? Let me remind you guys this. Did you know that God can prepare Mazin Namkanu. God has prepared Mazin Namkanu to help us in the cause of our freedom, right? Which means that God has his way to give us our freedom on the platter of truth so that we don't fall into trouble. Now, let me give you this instance in the Bible, because some of you don't know the scripture and some of you don't know the importance of the scripture. Anyway, some of you think that Omenala means that scripture is not important. Let me tell you something. That Omenala you're talking about is in the scripture. So I give you the scripture the way it is. Now listen. In the scripture, in the book of First Kings, is it First King or First Samuel? First Samuel, yes. First Samuel, yes. The children of Israel started crying that they need a king. Remember, from the time of Moses or from the time of Abraham, God speaks to them and God directs them. That's how God has been operating. And God says, I want to be your king. But in the book of First Samuel, they began to demand for a physical king. They began to look at other nations. This nation, Egypt, has a king. Assyrians have a king. Babylon has a king. This other nation has they all have kings. We also want kings. When the word Samuel was heavy in spirit, he went to God. God said, give them what they want. Now, do you know that God can permit you to have what you want in your own way, but God will tell you that this same way will destroy you. He said, these are stiff-necked people. If they want a king, give them. But that king will be a yoke on them. That king will use them. That king will mess them up. Now, let me relate it to what I'm saying under Biafra. Hailing and sponsoring criminals because they are very active, because you want action. You're talking action. We want action. We want action. You begin to fund criminals like that guy in Finland, Samuel or Simon or whatever his name is, and his rogue team and Chinansa and all those people, sponsoring them. Those people seeking for their control of Biafra land, not want your freedom to give you peace of mind, but because they want that freedom to come under them and then so that they can control the government of Biafra. That is their intention. That is what Azuka wants. You see, now they have given you enough signs. I'm going to tell you how these people are destroying the structure to install what they want. Did you know? Let me tell you this. If you think that you can say, okay, I want to use them, let them get us the freedom first, then we'll now settle issues. Once you get that freedom, forget it. They will hijack the whole structure. They will put people like Ngozi and other people who want their own thing to be constitution. And they will position their own people whom they are going to bribe, who are going to vote that LGBTQ will be in the constitution, who are going to vote that young girls like 12 years old can have the right to their bodies and commit abortion, who can vote that the defense minister can carry out extrajudicial killings and nobody will question him when he feels there is a threat to something, just like they have been doing now. Once they notice that you're a threat to them, they assign somebody to locate you and to kill you. Look at what they have done to Amaka. Okay. They have assigned somebody to follow her up like a friend, like a boyfriend, and they have gotten her details, gotten a screenshot of her, international passport, and screenshot of one particular order of payment or something, or receipt of payment or something, and they have come to display it on social media. They would empower themselves to continue this criminality. They will not stop the criminality here. Now, let me tell you something. If you don't know what it means, just look at Amaka. Now, no, Ego, I understand the activities does not look like they will give you anything for it. Yes, they would, they can't. It's not possible. But the truth here is, the more the people begin to empower them, the more they are going to be enthroning these militia groups and these corrupt individuals to control them. The same way Israel was saying they needed a king, God says, give them a king. When Saul came, they knew what it means. Till today, Israel knows what it means to have a king. Didn't you see the recent fighting? I mean, the recent protests all over months now, where they're talking about the ruling prime minister says they want Netanyahu, or what's his name? Yes, says they want to take the powers of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court cannot be the overall arbiter, to anything that has to do with the rules. They can decide. The government of the day can decide to overrule any Supreme Court's decision. Don't you see what kings can do? When you put corrupt people in power, the most sensitive aspect of your freedom is that part of your freedom that is connected to bondage. Let me explain that. When you are fighting for freedom, that is when you are supposed to set the right structure. Let me give you an instance. In 1999, because the people were just sitting down out there, the pastors were manipulating people. All they are doing is they are praying for Nigeria. All they are doing is that they are doing this and doing that. They refuse to get involved in politics. Did you know something? The northern, oligarchy and all their criminals sat, led by the Fulanis and the corrupt politicians, another aspect of the contraption. They sat down, drafted the constitution. They drafted the structure for the democracy they want now. Why do you think that somebody like Tinubu is in power? Because of that constitution. In other words, that structure. If I'm talking about constitution, I'm talking about structure. So the reason why somebody like Tinubu is there now is because you have a structure that supports him to be there. You don't know, go and read that constitution very well. The same way also, when you allow rogues, you can imagine Ngozi telling you that she wants this kind of narrative in the constitution. When you allow rogues, like Simon is telling you that the so-called Azuka is that Azuka is responsible to him, is accountable to him. That means she cannot give account to you, the claim to be fighting for, but what's the name of that one now? Azuka, the criminal in America, is accountable to him. But let me tell you, Azuka is in charge of the monies. Simon and Azuka decided that the money will go to the account of Azuka's husband, and they had a deal. They set up the structure of the constitution that this thing will be between us. Imagine these kinds of people having access to little monies like this coming in, not even the whole of Biafra. You now give them a bigger opportunity of the whole of Biafra, where oil money, gas money, other monies, tax and everything will be coming to them. They will set a system in the finance department that you cannot know how much is coming in or going out. Jesus said something. He said, if little is given to you and you cannot manage it, who will give you the bigger one? So when you give them this little opportunity, they cannot account for it, then you know that you are in trouble when you give them the whole nation. Said in the comments that the Biafrans in diaspora will still participate in their fundraising. That's the idiots. That's why I'm speaking. Those who want to still do it should continue to do. Now look at it. These DOS people, you are asking the people to contribute money to go and build a structure in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's compound that when he comes out, he's going to stay there. So you want to build a security structure and all of that. They should give their free will donation. And you are tasking the people, you collect 500 naira every week, every month from each person in Biafra land for monthly dues. And 500 naira and all that. I don't know whether it's still 500. And you still taxing the people, collecting monies from them. You're now telling them free will donation. And when you tell them free will donation, you tell them at least from 3,000, 4,000 upwards, whatever you have, free will donation. And what they do is this. This same money is collected. The people keep giving. They keep giving money. Anyway, we'll come to that. Let me continue the narrative. I'm talking the narrative. Because Ego just brought me back. Where is the democracy? Simon tells you. Now, I'm talking about structure here because you must understand where you are going by how you get there. You can't tell me you are going to Oshodi. Those of you who let me use Oshodi because Oshodi is very popular in the zoo, in the contraption. You can't tell me you are going to Oshodi and you are facing Songwater. It doesn't make sense. The path, the way to that place is important. You can't tell me you want to get into Biafra, a place of truth, and you are facing fundamentally a path of lies, criminality, brutality, and all of that. Somebody tells you that he wants to get you Biafra, and you know that the nation Biafra we're looking for is a nation where accountability and transparency will be the order of the day. And the person is collecting resources and monies from you. The person is not giving you information. The person is not talking to you. The person is telling you that you don't have a right to know that it is only him, Azuka, is accountable to. He has become the epitome of the freedom you are looking for. That means he is the one who determines what happens. He comes to show you pictures of different things. The other day, he showed you a picture of a building in the month of June, and he did a screenshot. Sorry, not that, he did a Photoshop of Biafra flag in front of the building, put the logo up the center building and the right-hand side, and he told you that that house has been acquired with the money that should have been used to stop the election. He says he has acquired it. Now, last 2-3 weeks ago or so, I can remember 2 weeks ago, they now rent canopies and put outside that building. And some of you have forgotten that I can go to any place, any business center, any plaza, and just rent that space outside and put my canopy, pay for that day and do my party. You don't know? Flag, put, as long as I'm not in the zoo, flag, put everything and just make the party and video it and say this is official launching of New Dimension, and some people will get excited. Why haven't they shown you? Why didn't they show you inside of that place that day, inside of the office? Why didn't they show him with her entourage going into the offices, showing Biafrans, this is the office, this is where we are, this is going to be secretary for Biafrans in the house in exile. So they just stood out, did their jamboree, took snap pictures, stood in front of there, and were just deceive all of you that are under their spell. Don't you think? We are talking about structure. If you allow such kinds of people, they will put in manipulation constitution in your structure. That's the so-called defense minister and chief of staff. Chief of staff does not know anything about the job. Defense minister is just there because they have to put her in control of the people because she gives money direct to them. And still the same person is the same finance minister because the husband's account is where the money gets in. And also, of course, because she has an account in the zoo that belong to her where the money's come. So they must give her, those two titles must be in her possession. Those two so-called portfolios. Remember, anybody who tells you that we should put LGBTQ in our constitution and is working under a particular structure right now that is so faulty and obviously criminal, telling you they are going to give you freedom, you are in trouble. If you go that path with them, you're in trouble. The people, we have to learn from history. We have to learn from history. We have to learn from history because history teaches us basically the things we need to know. History is important in anything you do because history teaches wisdom, because history is experience. It teaches wisdom. You would know how people failed. You would know what people did and missed it. The season we are in now, or the dispensation we are in now, is a very dangerous dispensation because it is the dispensation of mafias, mafia groups, where we have different fronts now claiming to be fighting for freedom, and people are divided along those lines. When Mazen Amikano was here, we had only one front. Even the little groups around, still those ones who want to, they know that want to really fight for freedom, you have to just go and submit under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because that is where Biafrans were focused. We had a focus under Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They kidnapped him to remove him so that they can divide your focus. Now, most of you are either with we have the genuine people under the accountability and transparency who are stable on the truth. Then we have the rogues who are in the so-called autopilot. I told you guys the other time that the word autopilot is not synonymous to criminality. The word autopilot is simply an application or a format or a projection designed and packaged in an order of function. That means it has been put together, and all you need to do is to just put it on and it works, because it has been programmed in a pattern. It has been programmed. The functions are totally programmed to carry out a task at a particular time. So when people call themselves autopilot, doesn't mean that when we use the word autopilot, we're talking about them. But when we are talking about them, we will make reference to them, because we know when we need to talk about them, so that they will know we're talking about them. Now, today I opened up to you how one of those people in that so-called cabinet, these empty blockheads who are occupying positions, Gaddafi is they call him police board. That means he is the board. He's not a member of the police board. He's a police board. He's not a member of the police board. He is police board. Gaddafi, that's empty score. Look at communication. They put what's the name of Raf, and Raf that cannot even go to an international radio platform to speak. He had to call me. He had to call me and tell them that this person is the one who can do this job well. He cannot now. He's one of the chairs, or having a portfolio of communication, minister of communication or something. Raf and Akparawa, who don't have brains, who talks like who just talk like as if he has some catalytic eruption in his mouth. Talks as if he has some hot and burnt tongue, and talks out of place. Look at all those guys on that platform. That was why I left that autopilot. So you saw that most times I was no more broadcasting with them, because those guys are just empty in their head. You come to meeting, you see what they argue. They argue. Look at that one they call 247. And I thought that when you see his face and look at him, you think this man is low. This person must have some stuff. Go in, you see an empty. We will sit down to discuss. We said we want to do this. When we call the person we want to do some stuff with, and because he will expose us without knowing it. He will scatter the whole arrangement we have made. The whole thing will go very laughable. Look at the other one they call look at all of them. Look at all of them there. Look at Chick Survivor. Look at all of them. Look at all of them. Not empty. These are people who are just intellectually, oh my God, intellectually deficient. They wasted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's time. Frustrating this man. Now, you can imagine these kinds of people want to give you a constitution. You can imagine somebody like Gaddafi, who is in charge of the kidnapping group and Success, and all these people, Kevin and all of them, Chika, all of them in that group who are in charge of the kidnapping program in Biafra land. You can imagine all of them now trying to give you give you policies under their, under their ministerial program. They now want to give you policies. They will give you policies that will house their corruption. Look at what they are doing in Biafra land now. When this person as I am now, they are looking for ways of they try to track my numbers. They try to track anything I'm doing. They are tracking. They want to find out where I am. They can't find out where I am. You can't do it now. You didn't call me into this mission, or you think I just came to this mission just because I feel like I came here by divine conviction, not by just any of you. So all of you, you are just nothing. Rather, if you come for me, you are going down, because you find yourself down. Structure. We won't take structure for granted. You can't have a structure that has a killer in charge. the structure will favor the killer. So somebody like Azuka, who has been pointing people, including the other time he pointed Mirugo and other people. I don't know why. Well, I don't like talking about it anyways. But he pointed Mirugo. He was asking them, have you seen the location of Mirugo? Anytime Azuka asks for location of a particular, camp that she knows is going to be loyal, within 1 week, that camp is attacked. This is the person that Simon tells you is the head of defense in his small rogue cabinet. And you think that kind of person will come and want a constitution or laws or a structure that would lessen their power? You're in trouble. The same person is the one in charge of the finances. And the monies where people are contributing money is in the husband's account and in her account in Nigeria. So you think that this person will come and want to make your finance department, your Ministry of Finance, transparent? Or you don't know what it means to set a structure? You think it is after when you get your freedom, you now sit down to now design your structure? You don't know that your structure begins with the now action and the intention of those people doing and how they do it. Those people seeking for your freedom and how they seek for the freedom. That is how you know that you are having a right structure to enter into the land. Why did God give Israel the commandments before they entered into promised land? Ask yourself that question. Why did God call Moses to Mount Sinai and give him the promise, give him the laws, give him the 10 commandments and other laws, other rituals, other ordinances? Why did God give Moses all this information before he got into the promised land? Because your fighting for your freedom and your preparedness to get into your freedom needs a structure that will position you rightly as you enter, so that as you are entering into that freedom, you are entering on the right note, or else you are going to implode, or else you are going to have an implosion. Let me tell you something. Implosion is dangerous. Implosion. When you get Biafra and this group this one now, they say, this one ain't get the freedom for us. And the important thing you should note is this: once you don't give your support to a militia group, once you don't give your support to a militia group, they will die naturally. Don't be excited and carried away by the noise. We are talking about structure. We are talking about structure. We are not. Learn from other places. Learn from Sudan. They allowed militias. They allowed thugs who were claiming to be fighting for their freedom. Those thugs will go and kill North Sudan soldiers. People will scream, hey, they are moving forward. Yes, we are moving forward. They didn't know they were preparing themselves to give themselves militia or to mafias to control them. As soon as they got their independence from Northern Sudan, they entered into fire from the frying pan. Now they had to fight internal wars because the people didn't determine how these things should work. It is the people that determine how things work in every system. That's why democracy can be is a very strong system of government if people do it right. If people do it right. God gave Moses the 10 commandments before Moses got into the promise, before they went into into the land of Canaan, which became Israel. You know why? God needed them to be on the right path into their freedom. So they need a defined structure that appears or is fully evident in their constitution. That 10 commandments and all those laws and ordinances and all those stuff that God gave to Israel is actually the constitution. If you don't know it now. Because those things form and informs the structure. Those things form and inform the structure. These are two things: to form and to inform. So you must understand these things. They are very important. We cannot make the mistakes of other nations. We must come together and say, no, these criminal elements, all of you, we don't want you anymore in this thing. Those members of ESN who have joined them to go into their, we tell ourselves, if this is the kind of freedom we want, we don't want it. We end their career by stopping our support for still within IPOB and under leadership. Is this not enough sign to you that Simon would just put his son's picture and just write happy birthday to my I've forgotten that his name, his son's name, I don't know. I've forgotten that boy's name. That's an this is a sign. The arrogance of very arrogant. I don't know why. I don't know. And you guys always want people who are stupid. President Amgani said, I don't know why our people. Is it that they always want to the wrong people, believe in the wrong people, and allow the wrong people? Why? Why do you always want to embrace the wrong people, embrace the wrong things, hold on to you hear them when you wake up, they post on social media, you jump up and get excited and you start sharing it. Okay, Adam, that's the name of the boy. Put Mazin Amdekanu's picture, put that boy's picture, and just write happy birthday to Mazin Amdekan and Adams. Is that how you respect your the person you call your leader? That's an insult. If you're working under Tinubu, can you do that? You just put Tinubu's name and put your son's name and say happy birthday to Tinubu and my son. Don't you see how arrogant and stupid you are? Even me, I'm older than you. I can't do that. Even if I'm the same age mate with Mazin Amdekan, I won't do that. As long as he's the leader. Even if I am older than him, I won't do that because I respect his office. He's more important than Tinubu. He's more important than any other president of this world, as long as Biafra is concerned. So I can just write his name, put my son's picture, or put my picture and put his picture and say happy birthday to me and Mazin Amdekan. It doesn't make sense. That's disrespect. That alone is a sign. You guys don't look out for signs. Signs. Jesus said, these signs shall follow them that believe. I'm not talking about the Jesus of the British. I'm talking about the Jesus. His name in English, you call his name Jesus. The Yeshua. We're talking about Yehoshua. That's the Jesus I'm talking about, not Britain's Jesus. Because I don't know the Greek and all those people. They are Jesus. I don't know who that person is. So if I'm using the name Jesus and they call that one also Jesus, please disregard that one. Just understand, I'm talking about the one that died on the cross and rose on the third day for our sins. The Jew called Jesus or called Yehoshua. That's the person I'm talking about. He said, these signs shall follow them that believe. When you have faith or belief in a thing, there are signs we will see. By their fruits we shall know them. If you are respectful to your leader, if you are submissive to Mazin Amdekan, we will know. The way you address him, the way you talk about him, the way you can tell that I can't take any order from anybody from DSS dungeon. What? That's insult. You can say I can't take orders from Mazin Amdekan as long as he's in the confines of the DSS. You don't say anybody from the DSS dungeon. You insult him. And the truth here is, whenever it suits you, you compose a narrative and say that he is the one telling you. But whenever people bring a narrative, you say, no, you can't take orders from anything from DSS dungeon. But when it suits you, you compose one narrative and say that he has sent this message to you. Are you not stupid? And those of you following them, if not juju, that juju power don't end today. Because some of you don't have sense. We want to set up a structure, and our structure is our constitution. The signs we see are very evident. Simon said that the so-called Azuka will be accountable to him. That is a sign that our finance department or our ministry for finance will be compromised when Biafra comes, if Biafra comes through his group. And other groups too. Nena, and co. Look at the criminality. Look at Madame Oyibo. Look at how they hijack funds to themselves when it was their time. All these people hijacked funds during their times. They hijacked funds. That tells you that if these people get you freedom, if they can do that to the little monies you are contributing, they will do that. It will be worse because criminals don't get satisfied. They are insatiable. They tend to be very desirous for more. That is why somebody like Bill Gates will be telling you that Bill Gates today and his criminal group, have come to the zoo, Nigeria, brought over the medical stuff. Everybody's kidney is now their own. If you go there somehow, if they want to get you off, they get you off, they cut you, remove your kidney and all vital organs, and that belongs to them because they have bought over the medical ministry, the medical industry in the zoo in Nigeria. They have bought it over. They are doing that all over. Look at today, you talk about COVID, they sponsor it, they still bring the vaccine, they control you, they tell you they want number of so people, so number on earth, so number of people must be alive, and so number of people must be dead. Because when people are wicked and evil, the more they get, the more they desire to get. That is the sign of evil. But contentment and godliness is from the spirit of truth. No evil person can be contented. No. Anybody you see that's not contented, that person has an element of evil. That person has an element of evil. Check it out anywhere. We cannot get our freedom from criminals. So every criminal group that is out there, Simon, Shinansa, Nina, Kanunta, all of them. Now let me tell you something. If DOS want to prove to us that they are clean, they should compose, as I suggested, they should compose a fact-finding committee. And that fact-finding committee must not be anybody. They just put anybody. No, we will determine. We'll bring professionals into it. In that 15-man committee, we have 11 as Biafrans. 4, not Biafrans. And those 11 as Biafrans, 4 must be professionals. Professional Biafrans who are into fact-finding, who are into investigation. Then 4 others from outside, from other countries. Professionals, renowned, and of course 2 lawyers like Bruce Fain and somebody else who will be in that team. Fact-finding committee. That is when you will prove to me that you don't have a hand in the don't just come and look at how you people are taxing the people, collecting the people's monies. You have told them to give free with donation. You want to build a structure in Mazin Amikanu's compound. He's coming out very soon. When he comes out, and that will be the security house where the security things will nonsense. You think when Mazin Amikanu comes out, he'll go and sit down at Afroku. You just go and sit down there because you just want to continue having projects that will help you to steal from the people. That is why. We're not going to permit that. I'm talking about structure. How can you say that Azuka is responsible to you or accountable to you? How many of you know what Nena is doing with money? How many of you know what Madame Oyibo did with the monies? How many of you know what Simon and Azuka is doing with monies? How many of you know what? How many of you know? How many of you know? Ask yourself questions. Is that the kind of Biafra you want, where nobody knows what is happening in the Ministry of Finance? Nobody knows what is happening in the defense. Will they just show you one picture? Look at the other day, they brought one funny video out there. The guy who is holding the magazine is standing directly. Let's just imagine that the enemies are on the other side of the road. The guy holding the magazine is the one facing the enemies. The one holding the gun is staying behind a particular branch and says he's shooting. And the 2 of them are standing like, when somebody stand like, and let me look for one funny name, one good name anyways, but the names sound like them. Azubike, when somebody stand, you stand like Azubike. Just stand there. Not gallant. Standing. And another 2 people were just standing looking at them. And they say, enemies, look at them, then they're shooting. And they post the video. All of you idiots were sharing the video. Getting excited. When they know that a camp that is not in their own side is in another place, they will set up that area. They will go kill military personnel in that place, carry out one criminality in that place, so that the Nigerian military will go there and kill the people, kill the young men, at least along that line of killing people. They may discover that camp. Because they want to weaken. Look at what they did to Oji, innocent. Structure. When you allow evil get into your system, you can imagine that a woman, a girl or a woman, it's a woman because she's about 50 or so, would be telling you that young girls of 12 years old have rights to their bodies, so they have right to commit abortion. Nobody can stop them. And that Biafra nation, the holy people of God, should allow LGBTQ homosexuality in our constitution. And then Simon will say that Azuka is accountable to him, which means that we should allow corruption in our constitution. You can imagine those kinds of people are the people under the so-called BRI, whatever they call it, fighting that they want to help you get freedom. You can imagine those kinds of people get you freedom. You can imagine the kind of constitution you are going to have in your land. You can imagine the kind of land you will be living in. You can imagine the bondage you will be in. You know it now, you start protesting, they'll come on the street and kill you. And then maybe an outbreak of fighting. Now real fighting will now start. Other militia groups, you will now begin to beg other militia groups to come in. They will come in, they will capitalize on the situation, capitalize on the brutality of that government in power, capitalize on that and begin to carry out here, and you begin to hail them. Yes, get them out of power. Yeah, just like what is happening in all these African nations, these West African nations and all others. The military comes and asks the other one, and they say they're corrupt. They are close. They are friends to French and the UN. They take them away. They bring their own people. They bring Wagner and Russia, giving you an impression. Now I want you guys to know this as I close this broadcast because it's already, so I've gone too deep. As I close this particular broadcast, I want you to know this. There is no way. Let me tell you this. There is no way Africa can be free if Biafra is not free. There is no way any nation, any brown-colored skin person in the world can be free if Biafra is not free. If they like all this, I see some people posting on social media talking about Mali, they have changed system and Wagner has come in, Russia has come in, now it's no more the West, and Russia also is seeking for their interests, so they would fight their enemies. When Biafra and Russia and United Kingdom and America and all those people were together, when they had common interest, didn't they come against you to kill you during Biafra time, when they killed over 5 million of Biafrans? The genocidal war in 1967. Was Russia not part of the killings? Because as at that time, they had common interests. So they would come together because it is all about interest. It is not about love. Nobody loves you. It is about their interest. Now, today we're here. Today, at least the ambassador to France, the French Republic left this morning after the pressure, and they said their military will be moving away the next before the end of this year. Of France was fighting and insisting that the man will not leave, the ambassador will not leave, the forces will not leave. Why? Not because Nigerians and he wants to help them fight, terrorists. All these terrorists, they know where these terrorists are, but they keep having their fronts and their men in our land. They give you this. These terrorists allow these terrorists get their weapons. They allow these terrorists to thrive so that they would have an excuse to be in your land and tell you they are helping you to fight terrorists. Now, France and men are leaving. Russia is now coming in for them. The West will now fund more the terrorists so that the pressure will be on these nations. Before you know it, they will be begging for UN to come back. Interest. What is the interest in Niger Republic? At least basically uranium is sold for 80 cents, whereas the real price in the market is 80 cents for 1 kilo or so, whereas the real price is $200 or euro. Is it euro or $200? So you see what Niger Republic is losing because of these criminal people who claim to be happy. No nation, see, if they like, let all the African nations evict all the the western interest and all of that land. If Biafra is not free, Africa will not be free. So if you think that things are happening, yes, things are happening, but the most significant event that will turn everything around is the freedom of Biafra. Once that happens, but if you allow that freedom to go into the hands of criminals, just like God told Samuel, allow them to have their king, but that king will be a thorn on their flesh. That king will be that king will be their downfall. That king will punish them. What happened? That's what happened. When Saul came in, David came, before David came in, Saul's son came in, Jeroboam or Rehoboam. Is it Rehoboam or Jeroboam? I can't remember now. One of them came in. More burden. No, that one happened after David came in. After Saul, David, Solomon. After Solomon, Rehoboam or Jeroboam. I don't know who came in. And then after that, other people. Look at what the kings were doing to them. The people were becoming slaves to the king. The same way also, when you allow this freedom, you see, our freedom is so sensitive that we cannot allow evil. We cannot be too emotional not to be reasonable or intelligent. Because the freedom of all the people of Africa, or brown skin colored people all over the nations of the world, is in the hands of the nation of Biafra. Is there any part of the world you won't see Biafrans? Even Cambodia. Daniel says another fundraising on Saturday. The gullible will still come out to give their hard-earned money. Maybe Juju be that. That's it. But we'll keep preaching. Barbara says if these evil, wicked, and criminal ones like Azuka and her husband, Charles Wankwo, Gaddafi 247 and Simon Ekpa, to rule, then it will be more. Oh, Lord have mercy. You give those ones, you are in trouble. You are in trouble. You see what Zoo is doing to you is small. If people don't have sense, you need to have sense now. You get too emotional. Emotional. Hey, water. You are just being very insensitive. Very, very insensitive. Because if I say you're being stupid now, you think I'm insulting. You're being insensitive because you are not looking at the process. Process is important as much as the destination is important, as much as what you want to get is important. You can't tell me that you are too desperate to get money and then the process of getting that money is not important. There's a process, there's a path you take to try to get money, and you will become arrested and charged for criminality. But there's a path you take, you will get it, and nobody will disturb you because they know you took the right path. I'm going to end this broadcast today here. There's so many messages here. I was not really reading. I was just focused on what I see. Barbara says the huge amounts they wasted of their so-called admin office in US, they would have used that to do more. Look at the monies they spent in that partying. Look at the amount they spent. All the money, Daniel says, all the money Nkrumah is using to open offices around the world. He tells you he wants to stop election, he collects money from you, and then he goes to open offices. Ego says deceit, lies, falsehood. That's it. So lots of messages here. I can't read them now, but I'm going to, of course, after now, read and see the messages here. I believe that the world is seeing the messages, and all of that. Someone says, he who took what belongs to a child and raised it up will one day suffer pain and bring it down. But this new generation of Biafran people says they will cut off the hand and take what belongs to them. Oh my God, that parable is Ogidigon. I want to appreciate you guys. On Saturday, that's in 2 days, I'm going to be here 4 p.m. Biafra time, the same time as today, 4 p.m. Biafra time. I'm going to be going deeper. I want to see by the time we are through, we're going to be more knowledgeable and know our left from our right. This is not the time to allow criminals directly. We can't allow criminals spearhead anything that is of truth, or else, because not only is Biafra going to be endangered, the whole of Africa, because Biafra is the key to African freedom. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys. Lovely guys. Thanks for your messages. You know, you guys have done wonderfully well educating Biafrans from the comment section. And of course, hopefully, we are going to be having on Saturday. I'll try open the line so that you can call in, you know, and all of that. It's going to be powerful. I appreciate you guys. God bless you. Very good. Take care of yourself. See you on Saturday, 5 p.m. Biafra time. Thank you so much. Yes, Saturday. Yes. I'm going to do that, Daniel. I'm going to do that on Saturday. I'm going to do that for those who want to call in. You can call in and speak. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys for your messages and everything. God bless you. Very good. God bless you. Barbara says, let them use money than buy houses for themselves. Of course, that's what they've been doing. They've been buying houses all over, collecting monies from people and buying houses. They think they think that freedom fighting is about acquiring wealth. That's why you will hear them say, they will say IPOB family, IPOB one family, because that is a way of deceiving the people to give you a psychological psychological deformation. You know, they deform you psychologically so that you can now begin to think that this thing is all about family units, just like family meetings. Biafra freedom fighting is not family units program and monthly dues collection, and then nobody knows what you're doing. No, that's not freedom. You are just deceiving yourselves. We'll talk more on that on Saturday. I'll be here on Saturday, so please, hopefully, let's be here together. And God bless you. Very good. Stay cool. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your morning. Whatever time it is in your location. I want to appreciate you guys. Thank you all. God bless you. Very good.